Used to be cheap.
Yeah, but now,
Yeah, now you gotta get them frozen from Randall's.
Now, the thin, breast, the little, chicken breast, the little strips.
let me know, COVID and inflation, everything.
Oh,
That's my son like, Mom, don't worry about it, please, just give me some of the good stuff, and we boneless, we doing boneless.
that's what I.
But you know what? I'll tell you something. A couple of months ago, I decided to try, because I've never fried chicken breast, it's just not my thing. I think chicken breast is too dry. I fried some chicken breast, a couple of months ago. And the best fried chicken breast I've ever had. My question is, why can't restaurants do that?
Did you buy
Why
it?
aren't they able to- Isn't it proper?
So, for class today, we are going over, marketing. We are reviewing chapter 11 for, marketing and entrepreneurial ventures. Last week, we left off with the, target segmented document. So we'll pick up on that as well. All right. I believe you guys, had the first assignment for identifying the target market. That was, okay, so that was due today. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Today will be a very aggressive, in-class working session. Very aggressive. Very aggressive meaning that, due dates will be shortened because the time that we will be spending in class working on, next week's assignments. All right. All for a purpose, all for a reason, and once we get to that 7:15 mark, it will all make sense. All right. I got the feedback back from most of your business plans for what was due, except for 2 groups. I'm gonna get those done today as well, and then try to hop into doing some of your target market or some of the assignments that were due for the business plan. I'm gonna try to get them in today, and then ultimately so I can have them ready for you guys by tomorrow. All right. I wanted to hand back your hedgehog assignments or the brainstorming document that you guys have for the hedgehog assignment. With these hedgehog assignments, and let me hand these out. I sit here and I look at everybody's names and I'm reading and giving feedback, and I'm like reading them how they're spelled, and I'm like, wait, hold on, am I saying this name wrong? Yeah, no, I got a big thing about that. So, I think class 1, class 2, we spent time on our hedgehog assignment concepts. All right. So thank you guys for sharing your feedback or sharing your reflection on these hedgehog assignments. From a minority standpoint, right, we come from a community and an environment where we're basically adults and independents at very young ages. We get into these academic environments and we pretty much go to school for what people tell us to go to school for, or we couldn't afford to go to school, or it wasn't the right time, or family scenarios, whatever it may be, we didn't go to school. We end up going to find the job or take the job that takes us. We navigate this corporate world, head down, work hard, looking for opportunity, looking for promotion, but it becomes a challenge to making sure you get the paycheck that you want, but then also having that feeling that you hate your job and you hate showing up at the job that you work for. But I'd argue that the reason that we hate the job we show up for, that we hate the job that we work at, is because we took the first job that took us. It wasn't really a job that we were fulfilled by. We just applied because we needed a job, we needed to pay bills. There was no true reason of why we applied for the job, except where maybe somebody referred you or informed you about the company, said they were hiring. Like, it wasn't really in our control. What I love about this hedgehog concept is if you take the time to truly brainstorm and think about these three segments. Again, if you truly take the time to do it. My hope is that you identify and find what you're actually driven and motivated by, and money doesn't matter. The ultimate or overarching theme, what happens after is when you find and apply jobs you're passionate about, that you're very interested in, you're probably going to research the company before you interview. You're probably going to be extremely happy and excited and appreciative to interview for that company. So your energy is going to be different. It's not going to be you just telling people what they want to hear because you need this job. You're going to show up to that job your authentic self. You get the job, and most likely you're probably going to be innovative in that job. You're probably going to try to do things without being asked. You're probably going to naturally be a leader at that job because you're surprised you get paid to do what you do and work for the company that you work for. So on a professional stance, I wouldn't apply to a job that doesn't fulfill me, doesn't feed me. I was curious at how this would work. This is the first time doing this in ADP. We're all at different career points. So looking out 10 years from now, some could be thinking retirement, some could be thinking management positions, some could be everybody's thinking, some could be thinking exit out into my own endeavor and venture, which again points back to this. I wouldn't start up a business or go into a business that I don't have any care, motivation, or passion by. Hopefully you're seeing through these, and I intentionally have the business plan segmented off in the way that we're doing it. Again, this is a research project, all right? So you guys very aimlessly looked at this list and picked businesses. Well, I challenged you guys to pick businesses that were in the top 20 revenue or sales generating industries. With this being a research project and based off of research, the challenge is that if you don't know about these companies, if you don't know about these industries, what are you going to research? Where are you going to find information that you can trust to make true data-driven decisions? Where you can insert in an academic research-based paper, data-driven statements. So I intentionally had you guys look at that revenue list. And then the first assignment, once we got through the aesthetics or the procedure of getting the approvals submitted, the second part was realistically the first thing that I really wanted you guys to do was research the industry. Again, I got just 2 teams I need to give feedback for, so I will get you guys that feedback tonight. Like literally, when you guys are doing your in-class work, I'm gonna be in the office and start knocking stuff down, or knocking stuff out. Excuse me. What I found in the industry outlook is, and hopefully you guys found this as well. Like some of you guys had industry outlooks or information in the industry outlook report that said that the business that you were looking to start had no growth. Red flag already. We start these businesses because we had this great idea. Roger loves to cook. Roger comes from a Caribbean island, and there's something that that Austin doesn't have that is natural to him, and probably people can't make it the way he can. Great idea, great business. We heard last week the busiest day brought in $10,000 on one day. Opportunities there. Excitement's there. Passion's there. Was the market? Not only the people, employment. Bought a truck, bought a food truck, the location came with it. What data did you use to make decisions for that food truck?
Did a few online searches, not enough, and didn't take it from my wife's wanting to do deeper research. Just good.
More with my heart.
Yeah.
Your heart don't make you money all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So again, what I want with why we're doing this industry outlook part is I want you guys to research the opportunities. They're there. Like, this is the power. This is why you guys are here in this program. Like, this is understanding what you guys are learning through all these business classes. I think this is also a challenge of this research project. You have the academic freedom to make the decision. You've been empowered. The only thing you got to do is defend it by data and research. Where do you get your data and research from? And how do you know that it's verifiable? How do you know that it's quality data? And then ultimately, this data, I can make decisions that I can be extremely confident about. I mean, literally just reading some of these industry outlooks, like I highlighted red, like, whoa, like the moment I would have said, I would, like, this is, like, I need to either repivot or I need to focus on or identify an area where I can easily enter this market. And then there's scalability and growth. First, growth. Second, I can scale through that growth. I don't care what your business is, but if your business doesn't have a market, your business isn't going to survive. This is what I find too to be a challenge with Black and brown businesses. We tend to want businesses for ourselves, for our people, for our community. If you have a business, and it's a big challenge I have right now with the National Black MBA Association. If you guys know, I'm the immediate past president for a nonprofit, the Austin Chapter National Black MBA Association, but time is different. I'd argue that being called National Black MBA Association is a little bit racist. It's exclusive. Now, we know why. It has to be. I'll give you a business reason. We only represent 12%. There is no way that you can, you can confidently say that you are vetting through qualified African-American talent because the numbers just simply aren't there. If we're just keeping numbers, right? There's 12% African-Americans in Austin, and there's 42% Caucasians. If 70,000 African-Americans in Austin, 10%, 20%, let's say 20%, I'm gonna go high. 20% have a college degree. So that's 14,000 people have a college degree. 20% of 470,000. The numbers don't equate. I got 14,000 candidates compared to 90 plus. The numbers don't equate. So the reason that we protect minority institutions or organizations, the reason that we scream protect Black business or protect the African-American class is simply because of numbers, exposure, and then ultimately access, clear access, equitable access. So if your business is, and my ladies with the business beauty school focused on, for example, Dee and Tamika are focused on a beauty school, but their focus is juveniles from minority communities that have experienced challenge past. They put in their industry outlook or business description, I believe, that they were going to offer scholarships. African-American community here is less than 6%. After COVID, I think the numbers went down to 4%. The Latino community is stronger, right? We're talking about 32%, but 32% plus 6% is 38%. If I service only Black and brown individuals, I'm missing out on 44% of the market, 54% of the market, solely because of how I named my business and who I said I wanted my business to target and help. Not to say it's not a good idea, it's how do we go about it, which is the second point. I want to make sure, and most of you guys got this feedback, make sure you're focusing on one thing. Now, for the people with the teams, you have to focus on one specific thing. Again, the challenge here in academia is you guys get into writing and you become storytellers. So for those of you that want to write a book, you can write a book because you tell stories in academia. Stories that have no relevance, no data, you just write based off of the topic that was given. So again, challenge yourself to find the data, to make decisions off of that data. Where do you find the data? What do you identify as a challenge or an opportunity and why? And again, how do you prove yourself right or wrong? With this, I did have two questions that I thought was really cool when I was reading these. So when I was reading everybody's hedgehog concept, and again, if you like, I really hope that you guys took time in this. But what I noticed that was consistent is, and Roger, you brought this out, but I've seen this traditional and now with you guys as well. My first question is, when you guys were brainstorming, if you took it seriously, what didn't you write? And why? I find that a lot of us in brainstorming, what can you be the best at? Some of you were challenged at the fact of what can I be the best at? That question alone. Some of you play small and can't even write that or answer that question in your own independent brainstorm. What can you be the best at in the world? I never thought about it, nothing. Problem number one. What drives your economic engine? Again, the focus on that is what can you do that people will pay for? So what am I best at? What can I do that people will pay for? And then that last one, what are you deeply passionate about? Like, I could sit here and say, I could be the best business consultant in the world. Now, does that drive my economic engine? To an extent, but certain aspects of being a business consultant. There's the teaching side, there's the business startup side. The marketing side is not me. I can do the marketing. I don't create the marketing. I can tell you why it goes where. I can plug and play marketing. But I'm not the put together guy. I know that. But I can see and I know what's good and what's not. So I would put that on there and be realistic. And Matt, I give you credit for this one too. Matt focused on what he wasn't good at. He mentioned when he was brainstorming and as I was reading, he mentioned, okay, what can I be the best at? But then also, what am I not good at? What can I not be the best at? But again, I really challenge you guys to just, one, go through this and realize your own fears. Like, don't be afraid to put that big, scary dream down, right? A few of you wrote down you wanted to write a book. A book doesn't have to be written tomorrow. But if you spend 30 minutes a day writing your book, 30 minutes writing, 30 minutes reading, and if you do that over a consistent 6-month period, I guarantee you in probably 2 months that book will be written. But the question is, why don't you do it? Any comments, questions before we go into? Anybody want to just pull up what or talk about kind of what was made clear to them during this exercise, good, bad, ugly?
2 things. Well, the first I'll say that it was a good exercise, and it's the first time I've done an exercise. Well, anything that from any teacher or professor, and I'm old, that literally made me stop and ask the question: am I wasting my life? Am I wasting my time? I literally asked the question: what am I doing the best that I could do with my skills, with my intelligence, with my gifts? I literally started to ask myself that question, still asking myself the question, what should I be doing that I'm not doing right now? So I think that was a very good exercise. But another thing that it brought to me, like some skills that people tell me I'm good at, it's not necessarily skills that I really enjoy. So management is one thing, a good example. And I've actually been a manager before on a couple of occasions. And everybody tells me, even like T tell me, you need to be a manager. Because I am natural at, I think, getting some things out of people, like motivating people, getting people to agree with me to move in a direction. But what I'm terrible at, and I literally hate, is when it comes to having to apply when you have to take disciplinary action, I'm anti that, and it's necessary. And so that's the aspect of management and having to deal with people issues. I think I'm too emotional, so I get too connected to people, and because of that, I don't handle dealing with people issues well. Just one quick example, I remember years ago, I was a manager, a girl didn't show up, or one of my employees didn't show up for work for 2 weeks. And when she showed up, I gave her a 2-day suspension. I was supposed to fire her for job abandonment. And when she started crying and she explained to me what happened, I didn't need to hear anything. I started crying too. And I then went back to the HR manager and like, can I take back the 2 days? And the manager was like, no, you were supposed to fire. You want to take back the 2 days? Come on, So I'm not good with that kind of stuff. I literally don't want to do it. I don't want to have to discipline people.
Right. Yeah. That's a great point, right? How many of us live lives that other people told us we should do? How many of us applied for a job because somebody said we would be good at this, or I would fill this role, or made a decision to go to school for something, or take a certificate? Like, how many decisions have you made because other people said you were good at it or you should do it? So another piece that I love about this is I get to write and control and really understand what it is that fulfills me and not what other people told me about myself. Evan, did you raise your hand? Come over there. Anybody else want to add just reflection on what they got from this?
I'll change for myself on a lot of things so that I can be a better person for for my son or the next person. I just need to focus mainly on myself and what I like to do.
This is also why, and I don't think I got a chance to really dive into it the way I wanted to, but that 10-year plan. What does the next 10 years look like for you? That 10 year is that big, hairy, scary dream. That big, hairy, scary dream could be, I want to write a book. I want to have 5 books done in 10 years. What do you need to do in 5? to have 5 books accomplished in 10 years? Do you need to have 1 book finished? Do you need to maybe take some courses or have confidence in storytelling, editing, whatever it may be? What do you need? And then go back from that 5 years to 2 years or 3. From 3 years to 2, from 2 years to 1, from 1 year to 6 months, 6 months to 3, 3 months to, you can break down what you need to do every 30 days for the next, and just chop it down. And you know that the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is because in 10 years, I want to be here. When you write it down, it actually happens, and it happens faster than what you ever conceived or believed. So another reason why I really like this is because you get to write it down and see it and hear it and understand it. And, you know, again, why are you playing small? I gave, for example, someone had mentioned in their hedgehog about how they really enjoyed coaching, mentoring, and counseling. I gave them a plan to basically go into human resource management. And why not strive to be an HR business partner? See, if you don't know what an HR business partner is or does, you would never know to apply for the job or opportunity. So again, you're here to learn about all these things in corporate America, what opportunities are around in these jobs, and how you can fulfill these roles ultimately to achieve what it is that you set your mind to. But in that description, I said, take 2 years as an HR generalist. Goal is in 18 months, you'll learn the HR generalist role. Take another 2 years, go from HR generalist to a specialty. Benefits, compensation, do 2 years in that. Take another 2 years and do another specialty. That could be recruiting, could be union, handling, working with the union. After that 2-year period is done, you have 6 years of experience in HR, and you have a wide body of experience from HR generalist to benefits, and then now you've added recruiting or managing unions and so forth. So you are qualified to apply for a business partner role. When you become an HR business partner, you are the consultant for the management team. It's your job to protect the managers. It's your job when somebody like Roger comes and says, hey, I don't know what to do and how to get rid of this person. You're the person that makes sure that you support Roger through this. Because happy people lead to increased revenues. And if my managers don't do things right, my company is exposed. If people get fired incorrectly, lawsuit. If people don't go about a firing procedure properly, lawsuit. You as an HR business partner, protect the company. But then it also gives you like that freedom. I mean, you're dealing with the hiring and firing side, which is very hard. But it also gives you a step into the leadership roles that you may be looking for. And I highly recommend that for all business majors. Like, what you're learning, like, if you're not learning marketing, you learn one class of marketing. You're not learning accounting. You learn one class, like you're learning a deep dive into business and the analysis of the business market and certain factors that go on and how it impacts a business and its revenue. But again, look at your passion, identify where you want to be in 10 years and work your way back. And, ultimately don't be afraid. There's a lot of opportunities. I was just talking to Ms. Espinor last week. If a lot of students wouldn't know about NVIDIA if it wasn't for me mentioning NVIDIA. You guys know NVIDIA, right? Mm-hmm. 2, 3 people. 3 out of 12. NVIDIA is a company that's based here in Austin, Texas. It was founded in 1997. It is basically the innovator in AI. So every company that is getting into AI, the AI space, has to buy chips from NVIDIA. NVIDIA makes a GPU where normal systems went off of the CPU. Now everybody's going to this new technology. I'm saying,
You said it.
I'm an old IT guy, so but it's been 8 years. So I intentionally got myself away from IT, but I know my shit.
I only got a few more years to go.
But NVIDIA is the hottest company out here on the market, and it's located here in Austin. And I guarantee you, they have business hiring or openings or business openings.
The I-N or N?
NVIDIA, NVIDIA.
Aren't they getting ready to do a split pretty soon again?
Oh,
February 25 is what they're predicting.
I hope.
And it's supposed to be like a 1-10 split or something.
So that's a good one to get into, just saying.
It's for $140 a share. So they're projecting that. That's really, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but the good thing if it shoots up,
Yeah.
Right.
right? You know, when we talk about these splits, it's a management decision. All right. For example, Chipotle, 6 or 8 months ago, did a 50-to-1 split. Chipotle stock was $3,200 a share at that time. They did a 50-to-1 split because they're looking to grow their stores and they wanted to incentivize managers for their performance. But if your stock is $3,000 a share, it's hard to give a package of a bonus of RSOs for $10,000. Right, like because you're only given 3.1 stock or something like that. So they wanted to break it down and make it very chewable, where they could actually give packages that were valuable, right? Like I'd rather take 200 shares versus 2, or 20 shares versus 2 shares. All right, but it's still all the same. Like that 50-to-1 split bought the stock from $3,200 to $50 a share, basically. So when these splits happen, it's really just splitting the amount of outstanding shares, but like realistically, the stock price just remains the same. It's just the amount of outstanding shares increase. But NVIDIA is the hottest company. It's based here in Austin, Texas. And if you guys don't know about NVIDIA, would you ever apply for a job there? And NVIDIA is a tech company. Would you ever think to apply for a job in NVIDIA if you don't have a tech degree or background? So a lot of these things, like, but again, I like, there's no reason that you shouldn't know about a company like NVIDIA. Like, there's no reason you shouldn't know about C3 AI. Like, the things you hear from the people, like, my man told you he made money off of just exposure to C3 AI. But that took him to take the initiative to dive in, to understand the company, research the company, and then ultimately make that purchase price. But it paid out, or paid off. It's paying off. So how did we do with the target market? How did you guys feel with this?
I thought it was okay. That wasn't the difficult part for me. The difficult part was when we had to do the research on the companies. I mean, I looked and looked, and it was so hard to get details on companies.
We'll get to the company part, but for the marketing, target market segments, how did you guys go about selecting what your target segments were?
We discussed it in class before we left.
So you guys felt confident? Like, you guys feel like, was it a little bit kind of challenging? Like,
It was, I think part of it, the challenge was some of it overlaps. Like when you look at the targets, like some things that are beneficial or like, the demographics for one target overlaps other targets. And they kind of comes into like a bit, what is the background, but like in the middle is certain things that.
See, now I think that's the challenge of working in teams, is because you got to think outside the box, especially the more people you have. Whereas if you're working by yourself, you're probably not having those same issues. You can separate a little bit more. All right. So with marketing, and I'm just going to loosely go through some of these slides with marketing. Marketing now isn't what we know it to be. Right? You remember marketing to be a school bus or public transportation, and it had that flyer or that ad on the side, right? And it said whatever it said was going on. Advertising could be billboards, right? Advertising, for what we know it, was an ad in a magazine or a newspaper. But the thing is, why are those things a problem for companies when it relates to marketing and advertising? A billboard, a bus, moving bus, newspapers, magazines, why is it a problem?
People have moved away from that. The people are now in their phones all the time.
But specifically how?
People don't buy magazines or newspapers. A lot of them are closing down. So the places you catch people's attention, it has moved. People focus is no longer on that kind of medium. So people have moved to, as they say, online. That's where their attentions are focused now, and you have to get them where their attention is.
The convenience.
What's the most important part of marketing though? Like ultimately as a business owner, you market for what?
For customers.
For what though? What do you want your customers to do? To buy. What's the last thing that you saw in a magazine or newspaper that was an ad that you actually bought?
James Avery.
James Avery.
I mean, that's the only thing that come in the mail on advertising like that.
Billboard. What's the last billboard that you saw that you actually went to the website or researched the company or even remembered the company?
A few weeks ago,
Which one?
it was, a nonprofit, I can't remember the name of it though, but it was something about help for the community.
You know, the only billboard that works. What's the billboard that works?
The one that said, I bet, you think,
The lotto?
I got your attention.
No.
I like that
I want to give you how much the lotto is.
They ain't getting me no more. I don't, that highest mark and all that. Oh no, it's the highest now. No, not no more. So I'm.
These are the ones, like the beer ones, like the ones that have like actual like 3D type billboards.
Beer 3D. What's the billboard that actually worked for you? And by actually worked means we did what?
You bought.
Movies?
You went,
A billboard for a movie?
Yeah,
I think so.
that's.
I'm asking you realistically, what
That's the only
billboard did
thing I
you
can
see
think of.
that led you to buy?
Probably
That's right.
yeah, vehicle.
For food.
Yeah, food.
An HEB sign.
You know you
This
got
is my favorite one. You guys can't come to my favorite one. Yeah, the most effective one. Which one? Which one? There's one, specifically one, and they're really good. There's one, and if you're going to Houston, or no, if you're going to Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's. It tells you exactly where Buc-ee's is. Every 5 miles, and then once you pass it, it says the next one is 300 miles that way. Right? Not like there's not one right around here. They told you the direction you're going. So much so, I know, look, we're not like, I know I gotta stop at Buc-ee's. Gotta stop at Buc-ee's. I get gas and I go to the bathroom. And my wife loves the warm almonds.
I've been in Texas for 20 years and I only went to Buc-ee's for the first time about 3 months ago. First time ever.
Oh my gosh. I always stop there. Always stop there.
Maybe 20 minutes.
I live right by.
What?
You don't go. How far? Are you from Buc-ee's? 20-minute walk, so 3-minute drive. Late night, if you need something to eat, you'll go to Buc-ee's. No? Or you don't eat late?
Both.
I love, so the Buc-ee's for me, back on the East Coast, we got Wawa. Wawa's open 24/7 and there's a Wawa every other block. And like, if it's late night, I gotta go to the bathroom or I want some food. If I need a snack, whatever, I can get it at Wawa 24/7, Christmas, New Year, no matter what. Buc-ee's is that. But it's like a supersized Wawa and you know, like it's doing too much. All right. But the funny thing about Buc-ee's, so Buc-ee's, right? Going to, so this hedgehog concept is from a book, Jim Collins, Good to Great, all right? Buc-ee's actually, when the husband and wife were looking to start Buc-ee's, they were looking at different businesses to get into. Don't quote me on the exact story, but I'm gonna summarize and paraphrase. The husband said, why don't we open up a gas station? The wife said, if we open up a gas station, the bathroom has to be the cleanest bathroom in the world.
And they are.
I went to Buc-ee's solely because I heard it was the cleanest bathroom. I didn't go into Buc-ee's to buy anything. I literally went to Buc-ee's because people from Texas told me when I go up to Dallas or Houston, whichever one it is, that when I go up there, stop at Buc-ee's, like it's like the cleanest bathrooms in the world. And I literally went up there, went into the bathroom and was like, wow. I didn't go in there with the intention to buy. I literally, now me going for the bathroom, I make sure I always get gas there because the gas is cheapest.
And you know they give you like an extra 75 miles to empty. Y'all notice that? Like when y'all go to a regular one, when I go to a regular one, I get like 367. When I go to Buc-ee's, I get like 412.
It might be more ethanol or something, or less ethanol, right? So like, but it all started because the wife wanted to focus on one thing. And the reason that Buc-ee's has a whole bunch of stuff, but the Buc-ee's selling point is they're the cleanest bathrooms. And the problem with gas stations are, especially, I hear this with women all the time, women hate going to gas station bathrooms. I mean, I hate going to a gas station bathroom, so I can only imagine, right? So like, but we weren't focused on a gas station. We weren't focused on convenience store. We weren't focused on having these shopping products in. We weren't focused on all these things that Buc-ee's provides. What they're focused on is doing one thing great, and that one thing is why you stop there. That one thing is what people talk about. You hear me, not from Texas, and there's two places I'm gonna tell everybody that comes to Texas that they need to go to. One,
I'm waiting on these two places.
Buc-ee's is gonna be one of them, and the second is H-E-B. H-E-B is like, oh, when I first got up here, my wife hated it. Because everything I bought was H-E-B. But the thing is, back on the East Coast, the store brand is the cheaper brand. So the value brand is the store brand, and it's usually like they knock off whatever it is, and it's just cheaper, not the same quality, and so forth. All right. H-E-B is the opposite. H-E-B stuff is actually quality. The cheaper stuff is the hill country. Business. Like, notice these little differences in how it impacts the consumer. All right. And again, when we talk about marketing, the most powerful marketing you can have is word of mouth. When you think about the products you buy, why do you buy them? Why do you buy the soap that you buy?
What you were
Prevents
raised
my
on,
skin from drying out.
and what you know, what's the brand you know. so-
Drying out, skin, drying out, what you were raised on,
Advertising.
advertisements,
The way it looked on the shelf.
the way it looked on the shelf, is it on sale,
Yeah.
how it smells,
The ingredients.
right? So, okay, in most African-American households, we buy Dove and we have some scent of coconut, cocoa butter.
Girl, Coco.
We all hate it,
Oh,
but we all know it.
remember the little brown things?
But
the little
why?
Used to be on it. Y'all remember? Yeah.
But why do you buy these products that you buy,
Brown.
right?
Take it off.
Something I saw about soap, I buy Dove. My grandma bought Dove. So Dove was like, I mean, I switched out, but you know, for my skin, Dove seemed to be the best. I don't like the odors and all that stuff. I just found out that Dove, and we all need to watch this. marketing, and the verbiage you can use. So Dove had to take off soap because of their formula. Whatever their formula is, it's not actually the formula for soap. It's like an antibacterial cleaning.
When I was a kid, the doctor had my mother bathe me in it because I had eczema.
Mm-hmm.
So that was what I had to bathe in as a kid.
So if you're looking at marketing, and this is, and I don't know how true this is, but there's some truth to it. The terminology you use. So if you use soap and it's not soap, you get sued for it. Why I know this is true is because it happened to KFC.
Yep, they call themselves Kentucky Fried Chicken, and if chicken wasn't fried, so they had to call it KFC because it's actually air.
I thought it was because it wasn't chicken. It was water based. It's water soluble.
Don't tell me that, 'cause I be telling them.
Oh, no, you got, no. You need to understand this. It's like, no, this is a big problem. The biggest problem in the United States of America is a food shortage. The food you guys are putting into your systems is not good for you. You guys know the ban that they're looking to do right now, right? You guys hear that going on?
Big talk?
Nope. Well, that happened, but happened. They upheld the ban, but it goes into effect January 21st, and Trump gets sworn in on the 19th or 20th. And okay, that worst day ever. So KFC, the chicken, I forgot where we're going on that one.
This is water-based fruits.
You said that they were allowing.
Ban. Red dye, food dye.
Oh.
In the chicken?
And
No, food dye is getting banned.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're talking about it in the next week. So if you go over the European Union, like high fructose corn syrup is illegal, food dye is illegal. Like that red dye number 40 is not good for you, it's not healthy for you. Not ironically, if you go into the grocery store and you read these instructions or read these ingredients, like this is not real food you're eating. Somebody talked about the chicken. So pre-COVID, they knew there was a supply chain shortage. If you notice, pre-COVID, we have not had chicken wings from H-E-B. The only chicken wings you can get from H-E-B are Hill Country. Hill Country chicken wings are tough, not the same quality. Even Sprouts can repackage their meat, but we don't know where they get it from. Purdue was really big on the whole hormones and antibiotics and all this stuff, right? And now you look on their packaging and it says no hormones, antibiotics ever. But why is the chicken wing that big? Like it shouldn't be that, like if you're eating oversized wings, it's not right.
I miss those wings.
Like, so, like, but
Make those chickens.
My favorite.
so listen, if you're eating oversized chicken, it's not right. So in the United States of America, from calf to slaughter, a cow typically is 6 months. In the European Union, it's 19 from calf to slaughter. We rush these animals and feed them with hormones and antibiotics, and these things are getting sick, and this is what you put in your body. But the marketing part is that what can they say, what can't they say? Even down to organic and what's considered natural. One of my favorite ones is on peanut butter. Anybody know what's really nasty about peanut butter? And it's allowed. It's a small print. It says 0.03% of this certain thing is allowed to be in all peanut butter.
Insert.
Contaminants is what it's described as. It says 0.03% contaminants, but they know it's warehouse and there's insects that are walking on this stuff and like feces and like this stuff is real. Last one. I stopped eating Chick-fil-A. I think I shared this with you guys. I stopped eating Chick-fil-A 6 months ago. I ate a Chick-fil-A sandwich and it was like, they were starting to get juicy and like real stringy tasting. Like it was just, like, it just was weird. like 2 weeks, 3 weeks after I noticed that, I had, I guess they made an announcement. And Chick-fil-A basically used to not take any antibiotic chicken or any chicken that was injected with antibiotics. They wouldn't take that chicken at all. They wouldn't buy it. But the price of chicken's going up. And to make food affordable, they had to make a business decision, and that business decision was to accept antibiotic chicken. It's honestly, it's really scary when you think about it. Like, it's really scary. Snowmageddon bought a lot of things to me, but I haven't seen a palm tree in Texas since Snowmageddon, right? If you remember during that time frame, the grapes, the fruit, everything that was really Texas-based was terrible because the farm ground.
Yeah.
Like, this stuff impacts all of us. It impacts what gets delivered and how much we ultimately pay for it. Let me see here. So when we talk about marketing is no longer about just the 4 Ps of what you may have been told before, of product, promotion, price, and place. Now you want to look at there could be a co-created bundle, right? There could be communities that you're putting this towards, or why. You're customizing. You're giving people the choice, which is ultimately like what most of us want, and it's the challenge with marketing today. You want the choice of when to buy, how to buy. You want the choice of how fast it comes to you. And they know that if it doesn't come quick, if it doesn't get to you quick, you have what's known as buyer's remorse. The longer it takes for Amazon to deliver your package, the longer it takes for that package to get to your doorstep, the quicker you are, or the more likely you are to refund. So Amazon's supply chain business, what they found is that they delivered their products, but they had a big issue with too many people returning products. The reason that people returned products was because I bought this thing, it took me 2 weeks, that bill came, and it's like, whoa, I don't really need this anymore. Return, refund, biggest loss for Amazon. Now, they don't give you no time to think about your purchase. You click one-click buy, literally one-click buy. Like, it's even for you guys, it impacts you guys, right? Every time I'm telling students about how to access books, you go to Amazon, like, it's going to give you the most expensive product, most expensive book. You got to find the small print, that one little link that says use textbooks for $2.97.
Yeah.
They make it so small you don't trust it. But that's where, but
Yeah.
This is even with AI and how sites are optimized. It's the consumer journey. What's your consumer journey for your business? What makes you buy what you buy and why you buy it? So when we look at marketing, you want to answer the question why 7 times. Why do I buy cookies? Good cookies. Who wants to buy these good cookies? You want to buy these good cookies? That's not enough. Why do we buy? Why do we buy?
Advertising. We buy our eyes.
Why do we buy?
Somebody else said it was good.
It's convenient, it's something, it's a snack, it's something I can do.
Sweet tooth, tell us what.
I got a sweet tooth. Who has a sweet tooth? Raise your hand. You want some cookies? I got what's the market price?
$1 a cookie for that size.
Oh, there's no other cookies?
I got 8 cookies in here. Listen, I'll sell them to you for $5.
Oh,
You got a sweet tooth?
yeah.
$5 for a cookie. You buying it?
Mm-hmm.
You probably not. Sweet tooth isn't enough. Hey, you got a sweet tooth? Come by. This is the importance of understanding the benefit. What's the benefit of these cookies? Noel, what are the benefits?
There's no eggs, no dairy, and they're damn good.
They are.
No eggs, no dairy. So if you have a dairy allergy and you love chocolate chip cookies, does a dairy allergy for somebody who loves chocolate chip cookies include a sexual demographic, an age demographic, a location demographic?
Mhm.
I'm not selling to men ages 18 to 42 that like chocolate. When we do our marketing, that's what we do. To understand why you want these cookies, it's because I got a sweet tooth. The marketer, the business owner needs to understand why you buy these cookies. It's the person that it's the individual with their gluten allergy. Most people that have a gluten allergy, they find out when. How old are you?
Older.
Everybody I know that has a gluten-free allergy, most people that I'm aware of, that are aware of it, they're older. So I'm looking for men and women 30 plus that just identified they have a gluten allergy. Here's a product of chocolate chip cookies that you can eat. Hey, have you been looking for gluten-free cookies that you can eat without that reaction you remember? I'm speaking to your pain. My marketing, my story, my advertising, the places I go. Zookies.
Zookies cookies.
Hey, I own Zookies Cookies. If you ever had a gluten-free allergy or experienced any issues with dairy, this cookie right here is your resolution. Yes, it tastes amazing, and two, your body won't hurt you for it. Quick, easy, made up on the spot, and then I also was able to target my demographic through the words I used. Gluten-free, non-dairy, and I was very intentional about it. My marketing would never not say that. My marketing would never not say, what's the benefit for you? Because people ask why 7 times. It's like a 2-year-old. You tell a 2-year-old the oven's hot, they're gonna say, or don't touch that, why? It's hot, why? 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 Why?
And then I'm saying, touch it then.
Touch it and learn. Business owner says, you don't want to buy it then. How do you answer why 7 times? Why buy cookies? They're good. Okay. Well, why? Do you have a sweet tooth? Yeah. Okay. Well, why? You don't have a sweet tooth all the time. When do you eat the cookies? What triggers you to eat the cookies? Are the cookies a reward? How? That's what I loved about that, how companies learn your secrets. Did you guys read the Febreze and the habit trick? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Febreze commercials?
Yeah.
Now, I still see those commercials, but not when Febreze first, it was always the blindfold and the person comes in and they're like sitting in there, they're sitting on the dirty ass couch and like they're blindfolded and they can't tell anything. And then they take that blindfold off and they're like, oh my God, I couldn't smell anything. But the problem is that it wasn't the fact that you think about when you clean, right? You don't use Febreze first before you clean. Like, I wouldn't use Febreze because the trash stinks. I'm gonna take the trash out, right? Like, I'm not masking up. In most cases, I don't think people are masking up old odors intentionally. So you find out, how do people use my product? The best people you can get information from is the people that buy. Why did you buy my product? If my product wasn't here, who would you buy it from? When you think of gluten-free cookies, give me 3 companies that you think of. Those become the companies that I research. How much do they charge? Where are they located? What are their strengths and weaknesses and why? What verbiage are they using? You know, for a startup business and startup entrepreneur, the best way to actually create your marketing is to never reinvent the wheel. So this goes against academia, right? But actually, Amazon, anybody can open up an Amazon business. Amazon businesses, basically what they are marketing. You have to market your product properly. You could start up an Amazon store. You could take a credit card and put it on an Amazon store and say, no more purchase than $3,000. And then Amazon will automatically use your credit card, fulfill purchases, and then ship orders. And they'll do it for you. So you can make money off of just basically being a creditor for Amazon to fulfill product orders. But it's the market. Never reinvent the wheel. Go find who sold the most of a product. What verbiage did they use? Copy and paste. You know, McDonald's spent a lot of money to research its locations, like a lot of money in market research. So everywhere you see at McDonald's, they spent a lot of money to research that market, which means that there's a lot of people that are in that area and a lot of foot traffic. When you see a McDonald's, what else do you see?
Burger King, Walmart.
Burger King, a Wendy's. You see other fast food places. Burger King doesn't spend any money on market research. Everywhere McDonald's opens up a facility, opens up a site, Burger King opens up one right next to them. Why pay money in market research when McDonald's does? We'll just pay prime real estate to get right next to McDonald's. Strategy. Financial institutions. Whenever you've ever seen a financial institution not have a whole bunch of financial institutions around them. Gas stations. It's one over here and then one right over there. It makes no sense to me. Why would I want the gas? And then it's like 5 cents different in gas. They're going back and forth on war on gas.
It was the CVS and Walgreens for me.
CVS, Walgreens.
They always,
Yeah.
opposite corner here.
Right? So this stuff is very intentional. All right. I want to actually start to slow down. I mean, you guys said you had no problem with this marketing stuff. I won't go in on there. Let me make sure I didn't have. Okay, I actually in here and then we'll go into our exercise. The new marketing concept for entrepreneurs. It consists of knowledge of the market and what it consists of, development of a proper marketing plan, a proper approach to a pricing strategy, understanding and the application of social media, and then making sure you understand the market research. All right. From our standpoint, you guys are researching the competitors. You can ask competitors or you can identify. You can walk into a store. You can see how much the price of a product is, and you can Google and say, how much would that product cost me wholesale? You can estimate how much stores make on the margin of a product by research. The most important information you have for a startup company is the competitors. They've already done what you're looking to do. Why reinvent the wheel? The challenge becomes, how do you understand the research that you find? What is the strength of a company?
It's human resource.
Why do you know it's the strength of a company? Why would you identify, how would you identify if you go on the internet, How would you identify a company that has a strong customer base?
By the data that shows what their profits are, what they're bringing in,
Where do you find profits?
looking at their statements,
Where do you find their statements?
looking on their website.
Where?
I couldn't find it.
Investor relations usually is always at the very bottom in the site map, and there's that small print information that's there. Right? Like this is now, and I think this is the challenge, right? You have the freedom to identify what's strong or what's a strength or a weakness of a business. But the place where you don't have freedom is, how do you defend it? We know a business that has a website, right? If the website's not good, it's probably a weakness for the business. Do we agree? Why is a company not having a strong website a weakness?
Cause that's just weird nowadays.
It's weird nowadays.
Yeah, but my.
Okay, I need the academic answer. It's weird nowadays, you know.
2024 and every business should have a website, but I have a story about that. My stepsister built a home in Liberty Hill, but a home builder that doesn't have a website because he goes by word of mouth.
Yeah.
And he built them a beautiful home. I couldn't hardly believe they decided
The
on
best
that.
form of marketing is word of mouth. So, website. Now, we just proved the fact that a business doesn't need to have a website.
But doesn't that sound weird to y'all?
Yes.
That this home building business?
It
has a
doesn't.
website?
It doesn't, because the number one form of marketing is word of mouth marketing, and I can find research that will prove that to you. The number one form of marketing is word of mouth.
That's true.
But I like to go look at other people, other experiences of other people. I can hear it from you, but then I wanna go look at it and see what other people say.
But you can't.
Consumer journey.
See,
So when I buy a product, I have a conversation about it. I need this. I hear some referrals. There's something I'm familiar with. There's brands I recognize, right? And then I do my research. Some people will go off of, well, it depends on who told me. Other people, it's how urgent was it? How urgent was the need? But it's the consumer buying journey. One of my clients before was a roofer. So on Google, the Google landscape, you have something known as the Google quality score. Google knows that we search in context, not content. All right. So Google's mission is to make sure that when you research something, that the answer comes up before you even finish typing the question. So you can pretty much go into Google and ask, we could do an exercise and we could all come up with any question. And I bet you Google will have the question in that prompt within 3 words. Like that's based off of location, it's based off of search queries. Like it's an algorithm that basically says the likelihood of what you're trying to research. But for businesses, they know that you come to Google to search for information, but now you come to Google to search for businesses. So businesses have to have a setup. They have to have a consistent address. So on the internet, there's all these local sites that you can find, like all these local directories. Google wants to make sure that in all these local directories, if your address is 900 Chacon Street, that Chacon is spelled in capitals on every directory. They're running it on all the directories to see how the address is spelled. If the address is inconsistent all over the place, it's a low quality score. Because that means that the business, Google can't verify if that's the actual business. Because ultimately, if this business doesn't have a good website, if this business doesn't communicate the message that the person wants, when somebody goes to Google, if Google shows this business with a bad website that doesn't communicate the message, the person's going to go to the website, they're going to look and leave. So Google gives you a Google quality score. This has to do with your SEO, search engine optimization, which is like the long form of marketing. So like there's so many aspects of marketing when we're talking about marketing a business. I like to just keep it simple. Marketing costs a lot of money. But we need to understand that marketing is branding, marketing is buying, and then marketing is also, I'll put it up to 3 different segments. There's somebody that, 4 different segments. There's the person that knows, that needs my product, but doesn't know my company. There's a person that knows my company, needs my product, but is aware of others. There's a person that knows my company, bought from my company, but why do they come back to my company? And then there's a person that's a future client that doesn't know they need the product, and doesn't know they need the company. Branding, and then different marketing campaigns. One for branding would be more for future customers. The current buy, like what am I selling and offering that's an actual buy right now for a customer that's in need of my product? And then the back end is, how do I get people to return? Another thing, you don't want a business that has a one-way out and no return policy. If you don't get return customers, you're not scalable, because your business is always going to have to do what?
Find new customers.
Find new customers. All right. That's where I was going for this one. And I'll end here and we'll go into our in-class exercise. The best way I can phrase this is stop being a student and being academic. You know what strengths or weaknesses are, but the challenge is, how do you actually take that data and determine or explain it in a way where it's phrased or the statement is defended. I looked on Nike's website and it was too many products. Looking at Harvard Business Review, an article published in 2014, companies with multiple products tend to confuse the customer. And when they confuse the customer, it does X, Y, Z.
So for marketing research, would you, because that's what I did, I'm guessing that's wrong. Would you look at reviews from customers and employees? Because that's the only kind of information I was able to find, and that's what I used.
Yes, yes, but it's how you defend it. I looked and I saw, I went to Indeed, and Indeed employees were commenting this. You know, they don't pay. They're not paying high, or they don't train well. All these things are weaknesses that are real, but they're also opportunities for your company.
Exactly.
You know that they don't do this, so we need to focus on that, because I need to answer why 7 times. Not only for the person that buys, but also for the person that wants to work for my company. This is the importance of your mission and vision statement.
And that's the approach I took. I still have a question though, because I'm on the side.
Let's go into here and then I'll get in there.
Okay.
All right. And now are you still talking about SWOT?
Yes.
Okay. And then that's already submitted.
Yeah.
So you're going to get feedback from it.
Okay.
So for our in-class exercise, I want to make sure that I make this public statement. So this is a 4-hour class period, all right? It's very hard because I do know I offer it like I know I put it on Zoom, right? I have a Zoom, and I could very much so make this a hybrid class. The problem is, if I make this a hybrid, like some of y'all don't even pay attention to me in the damn class, and you're here in person. So you can imagine if it's a hybrid environment, all right? The challenge is it sucks for certain students because you have certain students that are really here trying to learn, really trying to go through the program, but they get caught up in some stuff. So because I'm very black and white, it impacts people. In this class, you can only miss, or in this ADP program, you can't miss more than one class session. One class session is a 4-hour period. It's actually a part of, again, we are a certified school of business. So like, you have to have a certain amount of hours to be an accredited institution. When students leave early and do not stay in this program for the full 4-hour period, what is actually happening is you are not getting a truly certified degree. Now, the program's the program, like being in class is in class, that is what it is. The true value of these degrees is the work that you spend on when you get home, right? This 4 hours isn't nothing but a chance for you guys to ask the expert. And if you don't ask the expert, again, your choice, your decision, all right? But the bulk of this is outside of school. This is why you have assignments. This is why you have quizzes. This is why you have projects. Because if you didn't have assignments, quizzes, and projects, you'd never open up a textbook. And that would mean most of you would never open up a textbook. And if you never open up the textbook, you don't have the amount of hours that were required to successfully complete the program. So I understand that there are challenges. We have to leave early, but understand to be very black and white. All right. If you're not staying here for a 2-hour period, you're marked absent. I would never tell somebody not to come to class, even if you got to leave early. But again, I have to be very fair. I have to be black and white, because what happens is one person has an emergency, and then it's cool for class 1. But when that emergency happens and it's class 5, and it happens again, and the decision's on me. And, one person has a family issue, the other person's telling a BS lie because they just didn't want to come to class. And I got to be the one to choose which one's okay versus which one isn't. I don't want to filter through reasons and explanations. So I'm very black and white. Were you here or were you not? Did you stay for the 2-hour period or did you not? And then on the back end too, you have some students I've noticed through the ADP program that will come in late and leave early. And then there's students that are dedicated, we're driving hours away, hours back home. They come here on time, they leave here, they're the last ones to leave. They feel slighted. So some of this stuff too is because the students that are here on time, do their work, and are accountable. I have to make sure that I hold it down for them. So I'm very black and white because of that. And I need to make sure that's clear. We only got 1 more week left, and I know that this is only me. This don't happen in all ADP classes, but I complain about that. Like, what are you paying for? Because ultimately, I guarantee you, if it's not replicating what you're learning in this program into the students that came before you, getting into jobs that are decision-making jobs, really not valuable. So another reason why I'm like this is because it serves nobody no purpose if y'all don't do 10 times better than what you're doing today. Because like, there's going to be somebody that went to HT, and you're going to be that director, that VP, that CEO that basically has to make the decision on, do I hire this person from HT or not? Does my company come to HT or not? Ironically, even a lot of the students here have such a bad experience that you guys wouldn't even come back to your own alma mater. That's a problem. Like, I wouldn't even waste your money at the university at that point. But it's like, but again, like, you gotta think of the impact. Like, it's not because I'm here. It's not because of the professors you have here. It's literally because of y'all and what y'all do. So if y'all don't show up, if y'all don't show out, it don't impact me. It impacts the students that come after you. For this in-class exercise, what we're going to do is, in the week 4 module, you should see, a AI consultant. So this is going to be very dangerous. I understand that and I'm very aware, but I can't reinforce this enough. It's not AI that's going to take your job. It's the person that uses it. So for this business plan project, what we're going to do is a 2-step process. First step is you guys completed the research. So I hope you really completed the research. Again, I showed you guys last week. I can get you guys access to I showed you guys how to get access to $500,000. I showed you guys how to get access to $2.22 million for commercial real estate. So if you take the time to actually research these plans and actually care, like you're missing out on your own opportunity, whatever that may be. Second, I gave you guys feedback. Asterisk. Everybody will get feedback. Noel, Frankie, and Mark, you guys, I have you guys tonight. So take my feedback, make an update to your business plan. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to use ChatGPT as a consultant. So understand now, and before you guys start looking at the computers, just give me a second here. Understand now that ChatGPT AI, it's a large language model. The large language model is only as good as its database. So some of these AI systems, they're really powerful, but the database might not be too strong. ChatGPT has 2 versions. The first version is free version. It's not connected to the internet. So you'll find restrictions with ChatGPT because it's not connected to the internet. But what's important about ChatGPT is prompting. Give me 1 second. Prompting. I'll explain it like this, and I'll explain it in the sense of marketing terms, but I'm going to tell you Web 1.0 to Web 3.0. Web 1.0 was the internet. The internet became a database, right? Late 90s, early 2000s, the internet was a database. If you have anything on the internet, if something goes viral, right? Mark, you fell down the steps here. We all recorded it. It went viral. It happened. You can't have that scrubbed from the internet. The only way Google will scrub that from the internet is if it's libel or defamatory, because the internet is a library. Literally, the only way you can get something scrubbed off of the internet by Google is if it's libel or defamatory, because the internet is a library. Web 1.0. Web 2.0, businesses, websites, consumer data. Companies can predict your buying habits before you even know it. Companies can influence your buying habits. We read that. This is now going into Web 3.0 stage, okay? Web 3.0 is about blockchain. So the problem is these companies have access to too much of your information. And the government is printing all this cash and nobody's holding them accountable for it. We don't know where the cash goes, who prints it, why it's printed, what it's leveraged off of. Insert blockchain. Now for you, and this is during COVID time, we had those blockchain addresses. Did you guys hear about that? I know you probably. People had their own. So what happens is with this blockchain is it's your own security, your own like encryption key, where your data can't be followed.
Is it like VPN?
A little bit, but more, it's more in depth,
Yeah.
way more.
So, but yes.
It's a whole new world.
So now imagine everybody has their own blockchain, right? That blockchain is your, let's say, authentication to the internet. That's your security key. Nobody can get through your wall to know what your information is on the other side. Web 3.0. The main problem being too many companies have too much information about us. This problem, it's Apple and Apple intelligence, right? Every app on your phone has access to your data. If you have Facebook on your phone and you have Messenger downloaded, Messenger has access to everything in your text messages. So how this thing works is, I'm sitting here, me and Carlos are next to each other, we're having this conversation. Carlos is actually looking for a new grill. And me and Carlos are sitting here searching for a new grill. These phones have been in the same area for the last 2 hours. So what happens is they're cross-referencing this location and all this stuff. So now I leave this place and then tomorrow I get an ad that says new grills.
And in the stores, they have like Bluetooth markers around the stores. So, like say Walmart, if you look at your app, like Walmart app, and you look at the features that's turned on, you'll notice like it says Bluetooth is turned on. Why does Walmart need Bluetooth on? But it's actually tracking where you're at in the stores, and it pings those antennas throughout the store to let them know and get data. So instead it took third-party company.
And there is also
all this to a
listening.
third-party company.
There's also listening. I thought I was like just coming up with that until one of our friends who's into that tech world told me that it's real. So I was talking to my wife.
Siri's always listening.
Yeah, it's listening. And so I was talking to my wife about going on vacation. And like we were like, we've been to Cancun twice already. Is there another place? Go to my work computer, not even my personal computer. And I open the computer up, and the first thing that adds about vacation to Cancun, I'm like, that's weird. And I started noticing that trend happening over and over. Like as you say, talk about, getting a new car. There'll be ads about car. A vacuum cleaner, ads about vacuum. I'm like, this device, and this lady who's into this stuff, she said, yes, your devices, they all listen. She said it's part of the technology now, and it actually is listening and feeding back information.
Well, remember, data is gold. That is the new gold. Your data is the new gold. How do I get it? Because the more I get it, the more I can interpret your habits and your consumer habits, your purchase habits, and all these companies want to buy your purchase habits. Facebook sells you. You are Facebook's customer. You are Facebook's product. Facebook knows your friends. Facebook knows your location. Facebook knows the apps you use, the things that you like. Facebook has an in-depth detail of who you are as a person, your family, your school, where you're from. They have all this information. And they sell it all these, that's what, I still kick myself in the ass to this day. All these companies split about a year ago. So a year and a half. Facebook was $99 or like between $70 and $99. Apple was between $70 and $99. Tesla was between $70 and $99. Google was between $70 and $99 per share. The only one that really took off out of all of those was Facebook. Facebook's $613 a share right now, compared to Apple, which is $247 a share. And literally a year and a half ago, they were all at the same rate. So, and this is again what I love about this environment, why I would prefer to have you guys pay attention, why I always ask for people to have conversation, because you guys learned the most valuable piece of information that has made numerous amounts of my students money. NVIDIA is doing a split somewhere around February 25th. If you aren't paying attention, if you aren't in, you are left. And again, I ask, why are you in school if you don't want to dive into understanding why? So what we'll do for the next part of this class is go ahead and log into your computers, pull up the assignment. I'm actually going to walk through our next week assignments, and then we can get active on this assignment, all right? So we still have open how companies learn your secrets. If you haven't done your original post, you can't see the conversations of the class until you do your original post. The original post just means that you go to the conversation and right down here, you hit reply. All right. Once you hit your reply, you'll get access to everybody or everybody's responses. Respond to 2 people's responses in the class. Again, a response, what I find with these are discussions. So when we leave early, I'm allowed to tell you guys that you can leave early because if anybody ever comes to me from the university, I'm telling them you have an online discussion. So we might have left at 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever it may be, but we had an online discussion. So to your comment last week, or question about another discussion, it's very intentional to make sure that I can let you guys go a little bit without the university getting in trouble. What I find with these discussions is we tend to academically, we assess people's writing. Like, your job is not to tell me that I wrote that very well. Really, this is a discussion. The discussion is, I like, cool, thanks, but what, did you read what I said? Or did you read to see if there was errors and just check off the box, right? Like a lot of our responses are around there versus like the content of what people actually said. So a short response like, hey, great job, great post, I agree, is not acceptable. All right, like have a conversation. People spent time on these replies, I hope, so spend time on responding to them. So that, if you didn't make the original post, you can still submit your original post. It will be late, but the discussion is available. So remember, the due date is scheduled for your original post. The 2 replies are due when the assignment closes, which is on December 17th, class 5. We are here. Second part. So remember, looking at this business plan project, first you guys looked at the SBA article. You found some industries that had opportunities and some growth. You guys did a, I'll say, industry outlook analysis first. All right. For the purposes of this class, I would have had you do an industry outlook analysis, then pick the business, and then do another industry outlook analysis, but 5 weeks, not enough time to really do that efficiently. So you got this industry outlook analysis, you know where growth is, you know where opportunities are, and you also know where things are going to stay away from. Now, this is where we actually create the business opportunity, right? This is where you did the business description. You wrote the business description. That was my high level way to see, are you focusing on one thing? All of you did not. I'm pretty sure everybody focused on multiple things, and you guys got into story mode, if I may. Dee and Tamika, it was, we're going to do the school for a beauty school, and we're going to offer this school to minority students that have experienced a challenging past. And we're also going to sell products. And we're also going to offer trainings. And we're also going to tell you how to market. And we're also, they had like 4 different, and we're going to alsos. Remember, we're focusing on one thing. Now, there's an academic purpose, because when you focus on multiple things and you're dealing with a group of people and you guys don't work together, you guys collaborate and split, somebody's not on the same page. And then when I start reading the business plan, things are off because one person's talking about this and the other person's talking about that. And what was approved was what I approved last week. So keeping it super simple from the academic purpose is for that, staying on the same page. From the business purpose is what happened. This is what happens. Like, this is why I love this project, right? You're writing stories with no research. I guarantee you the people that, minorities that are starting up businesses have this fairy tale story in their mind and their heart, and then they're the best person to execute it. Until that first bill comes in. And you still gotta keep the products in, the supplies in, the employees, insurance, you gotta come in open, you gotta close it, you gotta clean. Shit, that job don't look so bad nowadays. I can take off, I get 2 weeks, woo! And weekends, I can go to sleep at night and not worry about this tomorrow. I can come in and say, you know what? I ain't working today. If y'all got questions, come talk to me. I will be here and I ain't gonna do nothing. You can't do that at your own company, in your own business. But you do that for the companies you work for. We've all been stressed to that magnitude, that point. So you did your industry outlook. We wrote this business description. That was my way to really see what you guys were thinking. Again, what I'm telling you guys now is narrow it down, focus on one thing. That one thing should be high revenues or high revenue or high sales performing or producing, excuse me. We go into there and you guys had your mission statement and your vision statement. The reason I did business description, industry outlook analysis, mission statement and vision statement, the reason I did that is because course correct. This is what we said, but then we did the research. The research says maybe that's not a good way. We need to focus on here. Now let's go to my mission. Why am I here? Why is the company here? See, it used to be about the shareholders. Now it's about triple bottom line. How does the company impact the community, the consumer, and remove their global footprint? So when you have a mission that impacts the community, you buy from that business because, well, I usually go to Whole Foods on the first Tuesday of every month because they give back 2% of all the profits to nonprofits in my community. Whole Foods' most profitable day is the first Tuesday of the month. All because they give 2% back, 2% of their profits back to the community. Not 2% of their revenue, 2% of their profit. And their most profitable day is on that day. So we start with the why. The why is so important. Your mission is so important. Your mission should be measurable. Your mission should be maintainable. Your mission should be manageable. Your mission should be memorable. But most importantly, your mission should be motivational. A company like Apple's mission is to make people's lives simple through technology.
What did you say? Memorable, motivational?
Memorable, motivational, it's in the document, it's 4 M's. Memorable, motivational, manageable, maintainable, and they're measurable and maintainable. I transposed the two, but the 4 are in that document, in the small print. Apple, their mission statement is simple. Simplify people's lives through technology. Who has an Apple product? Raise your hand. Who has an MacBook? Raise your hand. Who has an iPhone? Raise your hand. Who has an Apple Watch? Raise your hand. Who has earbuds, Apple AirPods? Raise your hand. Who has Apple Music? Raise your hand. Who has Apple Cloud? Raise your hand. Cloud Space. The company, Apple's a computer company. I didn't get into the accessories and look at all that we buy. And it's simply because Apple's mission is to simplify your life through technology. Easy. I can tell if the company's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I can manage the company based off of that. Are we simplifying people's lives through technology? If so, why? If so, how? Apple right now, we're supposed to get Apple Intelligence. 18.2 is coming. Supposed to be coming. Siri basically connects to ChatGPT.
Sorry.
This is, I was supposed to be here today.
I'm just saying good luck.
Why?
Bugs. I'm talking about the bugs, the issues.
That always happens.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, so the problem is that, and this is the problem with ChatGPT, and we'll get into this assignment. I'm sorry, plus we're going over here. But the problem with ChatGPT is that, who owns the data?
It's, Microsoft, right?
No. I mean, who owns the data? No, they own it. OpenAI owns the data. But I mean, you guys are sitting in here and you have research business plans that you have no information about. Like, this is your intellectual property. This is your intellectual property. What you are going to do with your intellectual property next is you are going to log into ChatGPT. You are going to prompt ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT who it is. Hey, you are a business expert from Harvard School of Business. I want to start up JMJ Candles. Here's my business description. Here's my mission. Here's my vision. Provide feedback on how I can improve my business. Provide feedback on we're going to combine the two. But again, if you research the business, and let's say that these are businesses, let's say it's this new tech space and this technology nobody has. Nobody's familiar with this. This is my own creative thought process. Now I put it into the database of the computer. When somebody else does a correct search query, my information is in the database and gets sent to whoever uses ChatGPT. So when I ask who owns the data, that's what I mean. I take what I created in my intellectual property and now I upload it into your system. Who owns the data? Facebook, right? And I'm sorry. Facebook, I think I shared this, my vision for Facebook. Facebook owns you. I believe that your great-grandchildren will be able to talk to you like Superman spoke to his grandparents. He would go in, they would talk, and there'd be the crystals, right? Your kids are going to talk, or your grandchildren are going to talk to you in a hologram. That hologram is going to have your pictures, it's going to have your style. That hologram is going to have every last bit of information about you. It's going to be your data file. So your great-grandkids can say, hey, how was it during COVID? And then during COVID, you probably were posting statuses, you were going to places, you posted pictures of, and they're pulling up your experience during that period of time. And they're able to actually live research. But Facebook owns your data. You don't own it. So for me, I have two Facebook accounts. One was my college Facebook account, and then I created a professional Facebook account. My college had my college party and stuff and all that stuff, and I wanted a professional one that I could take control. Well, I realized that on my new Facebook, I cannot be friends with my grandmother or my cousin who passed away. So if I ever want to go back to there, I have to go on my old Facebook. I can't use them through my new Facebook because we're not connected, we're not friends. So who owns that when we all go away? There's already been, there was a lawsuit, one of the, I can't remember how the child passed away, but a child passes away and then a family sees ads with the child's face on it. Artificial intelligence took images, like you put images up on the computer, who owns it? This is the problem with data. Who owns the data? If I take this picture and I post it on the internet and if I post it on Facebook and Facebook uses my picture as an advertisement, I can't tell Facebook no because I approved that small print when I downloaded that app. So be cautious of that component. Whatever you upload in there is in the atmosphere and space. All right. What you're going to do next is the product and service description. Now understand the product and service description. That is not right. The due date has to be updated. Why is that on there like
That's
that?
the one we just did.
This is the one we just did. Okay, thank you for that. I'm on the wrong one. Oh, there we go. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up, feedback for tonight. Pay attention for that. Ebony and Carlos, you guys are going to be one person down. So it's just you two, all right? The target market identification, you guys have already done this. I'll give you feedback. The only thing you guys haven't done is the sales forecast component. Okay, in the sales forecast, and this is again is the importance of the research. I want you guys to identify how big the market is and then do a best, worst, and most likely projection of sales. Right, so it's not men and women in Austin ages 18 to 40. Your demographic is based off of a benefit variable. How can you find the size of that demographic looking at and considering the benefit variable? That gives you a realistic market. What happens, and you'll see this on Shark Tank, you have entrepreneurs that say, oh, I have this new soap company, and it's this black charcoal soap, right? Or charcoal soap, excuse me. It's the new wave. I get it from wherever I get it from, and I'm asking for $100,000 for my business, and I'll give you 20%. And then they start pitching about their business. And the first thing they say is the health and beauty industry is a $3 trillion industry. We want 1% of that $3 trillion. Biggest bullshit you ever hear somebody say. You never researched your market. It sounds hypothetically 1% of 1 trillion we would all love. But is that truly your market? So we need to research and really truly identify these markets and the market size behind that, and not go with that. I'm a landscaper, and anybody that owns a home needs my services. My product is not for everybody.
You said you want the best, worst, and I missed the third one.
Best, worst, and most likely. Best, worst, and most likely. All right, so remember, these are 3 different target markets. I will get you guys the feedback back quicker, so you guys will get feedback back tomorrow for this. Like, I'm literally going to go work on this right now. All right. The second part is a funding request. So the funding request is, again, this is very high level, but I do want you guys to spend some time in this, all right? The funding level you will do, and with these assignments, make sure you follow my format. It should be very copy and paste, plug and play, copy and paste, all right? You get my feedback, make the updates, all right? From here, going into next week, you're going to get my feedback. You're going to run it through AI and make updates as a team, or what you see, whatever you see fit. All right. So for these financial projections, summarize your funding requirements. So this part is probably going to be done last. You'll project what your startup funds are, and then you'll do a 5-year business expense projection. In the startup funds, give a detailed description of how you'll start up the funds, specify if you need funds to buy equipment, like what are you using the funds for, and then support with the table highlighting startup expenses as explained. All right, so just do a real in-depth research of possible startup funds or startup expenses. For the 5-year, I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4. So year 1 should be broken down into quarters, and then year 2 and year 5 in an Excel table. This is a projection of your expenses. It's a projection of your expenses because we should see that after year 1 and we go into year 3, or we're projecting growth in year 3, we're probably going to have more expenses in year 3. So very high level, again, this is a kick yourself in the ass moment. If you don't know how to project or to create your pro forma statements, you wasted your money in your accounting class because you're going to pay somebody to do it for you. Well, not really, because we have technology, and I told you guys you can go to the SBDC at Texas State, and they'll use a computer program that will do your projections for you. But when we need to monitor our statements, when we need to draft our statements, we're probably going to pay somebody to do that, or the technology. And then your last thing is the break-even analysis. So make sure you clearly explain your projections and match them with your funding request. Identify how much revenue you're going to need. So know that there's 3 different things. One, startup. Startup is different from our projected expenses. Startup expenses are not operating expenses. And then when are you gonna break even and why? So how this works, and this is going to be a little bit challenging, all right? Because we are going to first run through the ChatGPT exercise. This will be what you guys are doing in class now until 9 o'clock. I'm gonna come back at 9 o'clock and I will explain what we're going to do for the final plan, like our final presentation and final business plan. With the business plan, I think I showed you guys this last week, but I'm gonna show you guys again. What I would recommend, each week you did independent, and I'm sorry, some of my feedback. Each week you guys did an independent, what's it called? Independent assignments. The assignments were titled, the headers were there. In your business plan, you're going to have two things. First is a title page. So you can use your tools here. And I think it's in, is it references? No, insert. So you can insert a cover page using your tools here. I would, and this is your title page, right? It doesn't have to be this type of title page. I'm just showing you guys to use your tools. All right, and the second thing we're going to do is go to references and then table of contents. You're going to do a built-in table of contents. You can do one or two, doesn't matter. And then I'm going to add a table of contents. So what happens is, this is mission statements, vision. All right, so what happens is I'm gonna go here, I'll go home. So mine usually shows up here, and I don't know why, every time I'm on this computer does it, but you'll go to styles. And then here in styles, you have heading and heading 2. And then if you go down to, there should be a more for heading 3. So I'm gonna make mission statement and vision statement a heading 1. And then I'm gonna tab this over here and I'm gonna make this a heading 2. And then I'm gonna make this heading 2, we'll tab that over, and then test 1, test 2, test 3. So I'm just gonna do test 1, we'll do heading 1, test 2, we'll do 3, and then let me see, okay, there you go. So I hit this little arrow here and it pulls up the styles there. I'm gonna make test 3, heading 3. All right, so we're gonna do a tab and then tab. I'm going to insert a page break there. I'm going to insert a page break here. And then I'm going to blank page. All right, so you see they're all over the place. All right, so what happens is now, what I would tell you guys is to create this document and then literally just copy and paste everything over and then set your header 1, header 2, and header 3. All right, make sure your indents are proper. You saw when I did header 2, it put it all the way back over to a right align. Make sure you're using the consistent tabs. Now I'll go back to here. I'll click update table. And then, so now I go back in and let's say we make updates, whatever that may be. We add in more text and information. I just go back here. I'll do an update table, update the entire table. I always update the entire table. And then boom, it changes your page numbers for you. So you don't ever have to manually put your own page numbers in and table numbers, like it does it for you. So yeah, make sure you guys are doing that, highly recommend. And, I will let you guys get to, like I said, I'll come back here at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I will view I will review what our final project looks like. All right, for the final submission. What that's really, and it's basically gonna be you putting up all the information that we went through. Again, you guys have reviewed 80% of a business plan. The only thing we haven't done is the accounting statements. Literally, the only thing we haven't done is accounting statements, or the accounting projections, but you guys will have done everything else. All right. For the first assignment and what we're doing in classes, this is an individual assignment. Okay, so follow the prompts, go to ChatGPT. It tells you how to log in, tells you don't have to create an account. If you want to create an account, you can. Use my prompts. It's going to give you a return of information. What I'm asked, if you ask a question that's too general, it's going to give you a large amount of text back. If you get a lot of text back, it's okay to summarize in your submission. What you guys submit needs to be formatted consistently and clearly. This is an individual assignment again, but as you guys are running through these components, work and talk with your team. What updates would you make on why? What challenges are you having? Collaborate with this, but again, it's an individual submission. Now, because I am considering this a in-class exercise, let me get my, I don't have this up here anymore. I do want you guys to notice the due dates on these assignments. So again, I'm considering this as an in-class exercise. So like it shouldn't take you an hour to do this, but spend the next hour working on this. There's a 3-part submission, well, two-part submission. Your reflection, and then the questions that you asked. The questions should be formatted. All right. And your reflection is right here. Complete a 1-page reflection. What did you enjoy the most? Did you find any shortcomings? What additional information did you have to provide? And then try this exercise multiple times. Did you get different information and feedback?
So is that simulation 1?
1. I'll talk about the other one when I come back at 9 o'clock. Again, with these assignments and why I'm talking about this at 9 o'clock is because this assignment, the target market identification, I have it set to be due on the 13th, with it being available until the 15th, so I can give you feedback. Okay. The same thing with the projections. I have it due on the 13th, with it being available until the 15th. What is going to happen is you guys will submit that. It gives me time to give you feedback. And then the final business plan project, what Dee was just asking about, you're going to take every section, every component, run it against AI and make the appropriate updates and submit your business plan that way. So basically, once you get past that 13th, your business plan is going to be updated using AI and then making sure that you guys are consistently formatting the headers and so forth. All right, so even down to our final presentation. And we'll talk about it again at 9 o'clock. I'll come back.
I didn't get the competitive analysis and SWOT turned in time. I didn't get it finished. And it's locked. I thought we could turn it in late. I thought it said it was open until the 12th. But now it's locked.
Yeah, it would be whatever time it's open till, but it wouldn't be open till the 12th for sure.
Why does it say that it can be late? Do I email it to you?
You're going to have to. Yeah, you're going to have to. So my challenge is because I'm incorporating AI in this thing, I got to control the AI use in the classrooms, and I don't want you guys to mix anything up. It's already a big problem with AI. All right, AI is coming implemented on the software that we use, like it's already on there, right? So when you're working in teams, make sure you're running the submissions in AI before uploading them to Canvas. All right, the AI thing is really challenging, because there's so many AI tools, and I don't know what students are using. And it could be well, we talked about the AI stuff, you guys know this, but just make sure you're running the business plans through the stuff that doesn't incorporate AI. The only ones that incorporate AI are going to be the AI simulation 1, AI simulation number 2, which we're talking about at 9 o'clock, and your final business plan. Everything else should go by our allotted threshold for AI. Like I said, I'll come back at 9 o'clock. Noel, Mark and Frankie, I'm gonna give you guys your feedback now. I'll have that done in the next 30 minutes. And then I will be back and we'll wrap class up and talk about what the final project and presentation looks like. If you guys want to use other classrooms, so you're not all in here, by all means, I'm pretty sure the other classrooms are open too, so.
So this has to be turned in by 9 o'clock?
No, that one, your reflection, the AI assignment, that's on the 13th as well,
Oh.
and then available until the 15th.
So can I meet with you, or do you want me to wait until after?
Let's wait until after.
You're putting me home at 11 o'clock at night.
No, listen. Listen, I am 10,000% leaving 9 o'clock up to you guys. If I come in here at 9 o'clock and there's only 3 people, okay, I get it. But understand that this final business, like our next week is week 5. So we have to put our presentations together, and week 5, we're presenting these business plans. And we have 6 business plans to present. The presentations are watered down, so you're not presenting the whole business plan, only a couple things. And then what we'll do in class is we'll pretend that we are investors. And then we'll vote at the end to say whose business plan we would actually invest in. But I would suggest doing the AI consulting one first, because you can get it done in 30 to 40. And then I would